Have you ever felt like taking care of yourself means that you're taking something away from the person that you love? Well, in today's episode, we're going to talk about how you can experience real self-care, reclaiming your time, removing all of the guilt, and understanding that truly you can take care of yourself while loving someone else.
Welcome to Grace to Care. Take a breath, pull up a chair, little laugh, little truth to share with Grace to Care. Together for the ones who hold it off through the late calls.
Welcome to Grace to Care. I'm Ferne Sapp.
And I'm Jessica Banner, and we're here having conversations on the grief, grit, and gift of caregiving.
Reminding you that in caregiving, you're never meant to walk alone because we are
Grace to Care.
Oh my goodness. Today, let me tell y'all, first of all, we are super excited. As you can see on the set today, we have a very special guest. Now, I could tell you a gazillion things, but there are some things I've got to tell them about you. Okay. First of all, I want you to know that today we are being joined by the Dr. Antoinette Alvarado, affectionately known to all of us as Dr. Toni. Listen, she is a dynamic leader, a co-pastor, an author, a coach, a founder of Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network, which is a movement dedicated to helping women live whole, healthy, and aligned lives. And let me tell you, she has devoted her life to helping women, especially those in leadership, and today, even those in caregiving roles, to understand that self-care is not a luxury, but it truly is a necessity. Dr. Toni, welcome to Grace to Care.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here with you and Jessica. It's just a wonderful, wonderful day, and I love this topic. I love it.
Well, we're excited.
Yes.
We're going to hardly be able to hold our seats. We're going to try to hold our seats.
Okay. Yes.
We're going to try to hold our seats.
I'm super excited because you're famous in this circle, and you and I've just met today, so this is going to be really exciting. I'm glad to hear all about what you have to offer. So we're going to get started today with our first question and want to talk about why is self-care so hard for caregivers to practice even when they know they need it?
Okay. So oftentimes we know what to do, but we don't do often what we know, right? And so what I have found with self-care, and just self-care in general, whether you're caregiving or not, the self-care guilt is a real thing.
Yes.
It really is, because number one, it's layered. Socially, we've not been trained to take care of ourselves, right? And sometimes theologically, we've grown up with theologies that tell us that our lives are just about taking care and doing for others. And while that is true, right, we also have to make sure that we understand that the primary part of caregiving is taking care of you. Because if you do not take care of you, you really cannot effectively take care of others and those who are a part of your community or who God has called you to care for. So when we begin to shift our understanding of caregiving away from self-care, away from self-care is selfish, right? And see that self-care is stewardship.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
It's stewardship of my life. It's stewardship of the call of God on my life. It's stewardship of my gifts so that I can be in place to do the things that God has called me to do. One of the reasons I like the name of your podcast, Grace to Care, because one of the meanings of the word grace is divine enablement, right? Yes. And so when God has set us in a place where we are called to care for someone, number one, it's a privilege. Yes, it's an honor to care for those that we love, right? Absolutely. And so we have to trust God to give us the grace, the divine enablement to care. But how many of us do it without leaning into that grace, without understanding the limits of that grace, and when we need to pull back and care for ourselves so that we can be in place to care for those that we are called to care for.
Oh, that's so good.
That's so good. You know what? I want you to talk to us too, because I hear the passion that's in you for self-care. How did you even, when did this even show up in your life?
Okay, I'm glad you asked. So, I strongly believe that ministry flows out of being. And my grandmother used to say it like this: what leaves the heart reaches the heart. And oftentimes it's through our own journeys, like yours, where we find ministry, where we find our message, where we find the purpose and the meaning, the calling of God on our lives. So for me, my self-care journey began well over, Ariel, my daughter, is 26 years old, and she'll be 27 this year. So shortly after Ariel was born, I had an experience where I actually had a crisis moment in my health. At that time, our church was in a very, very, very rapid growth phase. Yes. We were pastoring over 5,000 members at the time. We had like 3 worship services in 3 different 5 worship services in 3 different campuses. And we were in seminary. We were going back and forth to school. We had all 3 of our children are 15 months apart, and they're young adults now. But at that time, we had 3 children under the age of 3. I remember having a double stroller and a single stroller walking through the airport, Atlanta airport. And so sometimes when I think back on that time, I wonder, oh my God, how in the world did we get through it? We must have been on something. I don't know. But it was during that time where I started to notice, I was lying on my bed one afternoon, and my heart would palpitate so fast that I could literally feel my heart palpitating on my mattress. Wow. My hand would shake. I had racing thoughts, and my mood was just up and down. I was losing weight rapidly in a very unhealthy way. And I went to the doctor, and I was diagnosed with Graves' disease. And the doctor said to me that my Graves' disease is a hyperactive thyroid condition, right? And she said that mine was stress-induced. And I realized then, I went home and I was praying about it, and God began to deal with me to tell me that I was in violation of the law of Sabbath. Ooh. I was doing ministry, and I was doing the work of the Lord, but I did not have what Wayne Mueller calls a healthy rhythm between work and rest. And so God began to deal with me about rest, about Sabbath, about pulling back and taking moments to sit in God's presence, to allow God to fill me up so that I can continue to do what God called me to do. Right? Yes. And so I began to first repent for not taking care of myself. Yes. I had to really, really sit back and think about what was driving me. Right? Good. And I realized through coaching and through therapy that I was dealing with a fear of failure and a fear of rejection.
Ooh, that's good.
Those are big ones.
Those are big.
And so my fear of failure and my fear of rejection, things that I had not allowed God to heal me from, things that I didn't think to go to therapy about from my childhood experiences. But see, the fear of rejection came in from my childhood, right? And then the fear of failure, all of that. So I was doing, and I felt that if I said no, that I would be, the people would be upset with me. Yes. I wouldn't be asked to come again. I had a fear of missing out, all of those things. And those things were driving me. Yes. And so I was saying yes to things that I should be saying no to.
That's good.
And no to things that I should be saying yes to, like pulling back and taking care of myself. And understanding that it's not a sin to take care of me.
Yes. Right. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? It's not a sin to take care of me. And that's powerful, Dr. Toni, because one of the things that Jessica and I just attended an event, and one of the things that we heard is that 40% of the caregivers actually decease before the care recipient does.
And it's true. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I have seen it. I've seen it in my church pastoring people. I've seen it in my family. I've seen it just in society. And you're right. And so when I coach women, some of the women in my program, in my self-care program, many of them are caregivers, and I have to talk to them about the fact that that's very sad. About there are many caregivers who actually die before the person that they're caring for, because we're not taught in our community, in our culture, the idea of pulling back and taking care of ourselves, and that being a principal part of caregiving. It's not an addendum to caregiving. It is necessary.
Yes. Right. Yes.
It is the central part, right? And sometimes we look at it as an addendum, like, and I need to take care of me. No. I need to take care of me first.
Yep.
Yes.
Then I'm in a better position to take care of myself, and I can last and be and have a caregiving model that's sustainable.
Yes, yes, that's good. That's good. That's good. You know, we talk about just that guilt that caregivers carry because they don't want to say no, or they don't want to feel like, or their mind. One of the things I wrestle with as a caregiver is my mind is just constantly going. It's constantly moving and constantly thinking about the next thing. So I'm so glad, that you really touched on it. It's not an addendum. Yeah.
And I love everything you said, because I think one of the things we don't really think about, I loved your word stewardship, because we can strive in caregiving and not really realize we're doing it, because there's so many tasks to attend to that it's so easy that because there's so much to do, it's easy to go, I'll take care of that when I have a little time. I'll just take care of that when I have a little time, because meals have to happen, and bathroom and cleaning up and the laundry. Like, it's so easy for it to just slip. But when we do that, we get out of the grace. I loved what you said about grace too. Just that we have to operate in the grace of it and have that focus that we can't pour from an empty cup.
Oh my God, that's one of my tags right there. We cannot pour from an empty cup. And when I have found that I'm worn out, usually when I step back, it's probably because I'm carrying something that God never called me to carry. Or I'm carrying it alone, and God never called me to carry it alone. Right?
Yes,
and so that grace also, when I step back from it, and God would say, well, you're not graced to go beyond but this certain limit, right? And so, but when I go out of that, that boundary, then I find I'm doing it alone. I'm doing it by myself. And maybe I'm even accepting something that God never even put on me. Maybe it's the expectations of somebody else.
Yes, yes. One of the main reasons why we created this podcast is for people to understand that you don't have to do this alone. That in caregiving, you're never meant to walk alone.
Never.
There is that space where others are here to help to carry the load, help carry the load.
I was thinking too, we sometimes struggle with that space with our family, like going, I don't have responsibility. One of the best things someone ever told me was, Jessica, you have to give your yes. Your yes has to be God's yes. Anything that's not God's yes is not for you. Even if you have the skills, the gifts, the talents for it. And one of the hardest places we have to say no to usually is with our family. And a lot of times when we're caregiving, that's who we're caring for, right? And so those places of, I may be the primary caregiver, but this can't all be my responsibility, right? And that's why we can't be in it alone. And we have to know when to say no and step back and take care of ourselves.
And that's where I think sometimes we have to have what I call courageous conversations with people in our circle, in our family. I was just talking to a client client yesterday who's caregiving for elderly parents. And so she has siblings, but she has taken it on and she's afraid to have the conversation with other people in her family to say, I can't do it all by myself. She's afraid of the retribution, the attitudes or whatever may come behind that. And so sometimes we just have to have those healthy conversations. We have to set healthy boundaries, right? With our family members and help them see, hey, this is all of us are part of this. Now, there are times when we're caring for a family member and we may be an only child or whatever. But then I believe that's where we have to step back and ask God, who else in our community can be a part? And even when we do have siblings, who else can be a part of this caregiving journey with us? Because I just believe that God never calls us to do anything alone. And if God called us to it, God has placed people on the journey with us. Oftentimes we don't see those people because we haven't maybe asked God to show us, or we're so busy with our head down in it that we miss those persons and those opportunities.
Yeah. I love that you said the courageous conversations. A lot of times we're looking for some very practical things. What are some practical things that people can do? Sometimes we want to have 20 things, in order to gain that self-care. But I love the fact that was one. I'm going to write that one down, having the courageous conversation with families. Well, what are some practical things that you would say that we can do or people can do to really start experiencing real self-care?
And okay, so let me go back. One practical thing related to the courageous conversation is this. Sometimes you may need someone else to help you have that conversation. In other words, you may have to bring somebody else into the conversation. It may be, say, if you're my sister, Ferne, and we're talking about mom, right? I might have to bring somebody else into that conversation to help us hear each other.
Yes, that's good.
Like a therapist or a counselor or a coach or a pastor, someone. I remember one time Bishop and I had to have a conversation with a family around caring for their mother. One person in the family is a member of our church. And so she was burdened by it. And she called us and she said, can you just have this conversation with me and my siblings? And we were able to help them hear each other and see and help them come up with a strategy for working together as a family, right? So sometimes it may mean bringing somebody else along in the conversation to help us hear one another, help us see our blind spots, because we all have them. We all have them, right? And so it's sometimes we do these things in silos when God has gifted people to come alongside us, therapists, counselors, people that can listen, spiritual directors, and persons like that that can help us have these conversations. So that's one practical thing with having those courageous conversations. And then, like I share with women that in my sphere of influence, whether they're caregiving, because at some level we're all caregiving in some way. So you guys are involved in intense caregiving right now, particularly you, Ferne, as dealing with your husband. But I remember when me and my sisters were caring for my mom, right? So we involved other people. We asked our aunt to come down and help us. We came up with a system of what days each of us would be in charge of caring for mom. It was different for two of my sisters who lived in the home with mom, and two of us didn't, right? And so one of my sisters, she would say, okay, this is my weekend. I'm gonna go and get me a hotel room downtown Atlanta, and then we would know that was her weekend away, right? And so we would have those moments. I would be responsible for certain things during the week, but oftentimes on the weekend, because of ministry, I was unavailable. And so, but we would come up with a schedule where everybody could get a break.
I love it.
We would come up with some type of schedule. That's another practical thing you can do. I tell people all the time, put something that you can do daily, one thing that you can do daily. If that's just sitting still for 10 or 15 minutes and practicing deep breathing.
I love it.
It doesn't always have to be I'm going away on a 10-day cruise, right? You may not have 10 days to get away from the person you're caring for.
Right.
But what can you do today? Remember Jesus said, pray, give me this day my daily bread. So how about when I get up in the morning, Lord, what can I do today
Yes.
to refuel? That could be a walk, a 10-minute walk, a 5-minute sitting in a chair. I have a chair, right, that I go to.
Yes.
And I just sit in that chair, right? And I'll have a cup of tea in that chair, or I'll just sit still in silence, right? Or maybe sometime I'll have music or something. So what can I do daily? What can I do weekly?
Okay.
What can I do monthly?
Yes.
What can I do quarterly? And what can I do annually?
Oh, I love that. I love that.
And I would want to add and put it on your calendar.
And
Put it
it's
on your
honey, if it's not on the calendar, it's not real.
Exactly. Yep.
If it's not on the calendar, it is not. I live by my calendar, right?
Yep.
And be flexible even with that,
Yes.
because sometimes we become a slave
Yes.
to what we set. So if you find that you need to make an adjustment, make the adjustment.
Yes.
Don't feel guilty. Just make the adjustment
Make the adjustment.
and move on, right? But because something may come up that you didn't plan for, like a doctor's appointment or something like that. So, but if I had to make that adjustment because I had to go to this appointment with my loved one, then immediately, how am I going to replace that? Right? I made the adjustment. I got to go to this this appointment with mama, right? So once I make that adjustment, now what am I going to do to replace that? Don't just let it go.
I love it.
Make sure you just and while you're putting it on your calendar, okay, I've looked on my calendar. I had a walk Wednesday at 5:30 in the morning, or 6:30 in the morning. I'm a morning person. 6:30 in the morning, I'm walking, right, with my walking group, or 7:30. But mom has an MRI.
Yes.
I need to put that on there because the doctor's appointment can't be changed, right?
Right.
But while I'm making that change, I'm also shifting that walk somewhere else on my calendar.
Somewhere else. Moving it in.
I call that structured flexibility.
It's structured flexibility. I'm gonna borrow that word.
You
now.
can have it, yeah.
Thank you, Jessica.
I use that with my clients. It's on my own principle. God gave that to me for me, but it's that idea of putting it on the calendar is real commitment to yourself. It's the idea that it's just as important as that doctor's appointment. It's just as important as that errand for somebody else.
Yes.
But having the flexibility,
the structure
flexibility, right? But that accountability, it creates accountability to keep it on our calendar too.
It does.
Right?
And if you don't structure it and have that flexibility, what will happen is you'll continue to let things change your plans, right? And it'll pile up and pile up and pile up. And one of the things that happens with self-care guilt is that we become resentful. That's why you have to deal with it. Because if you don't, you'll become resentful of the person you're caring for. You'll become resentful of all the other people in the community that don't look like they're pulling their weight, and then all of a sudden you just have this blow up moment. And I'll give you a perfect example. When Bishop and when our oldest son was born, Jonathan. So, I'm a pretty type A personality, right? When I put something, I got an idea how I want it to go. This is how it's going to go. So they told us it's our first child, so we done went through all the little Lamaze classes and, and I'm learning how to take care of the baby, and they told us how to make the formula and all of that, and you put the formula in the water, and then you stir it with the fork and all this, right? So I'm going to do it the way they taught us in the class.
Right.
But your husband, he like, whatever.
Right.
So we, about 3 or 4 weeks into this new baby that we're caring for, because the baby's new, mom is the primary caregiver. Right? I wake up one night in the middle of the night and I just throw the covers off me and I just melt into tears. And he's, what's wrong? You're not helping me, and I need more help, and the baby's crying. Well, what can I do? Now, first of all, I'm mad because I got to tell you what to do, right? And he says, I said, well, if you could just help with the bottles, this and the other, right? Okay. So I had to tell him what I wanted. I couldn't be mad because I got to tell you what I want.
Right.
Tell him what you want. It's not a mind reader. Then he goes and he makes the bottles, but he puts the formula in the water and he shakes it. And so then I go behind him and I said, that's not how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to stir it, right? And he looks at me and says, now, do you want the bottles made?
Okay.
Or do you want to have it your way?
Okay. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And I had to say, you know what? Make the bottles your way. And guess what? The baby still got fed.
Yes.
The baby is grown.
Yes.
The baby got a baby of his own now. Right? You get me? And so as a caregiver, sometimes we got to even let the people around us help us their way.
Yes. Yes. Help us their way. Listen, we're going to talk a little bit more about helping their way, about allowing those people to come into our community and to help us their way after this commercial break. Stay tuned. Caregiving changes everything, and that's why we've created our Grace to Care Affirmation Journal. It's available in both English and Spanish versions.
The pages are filled with encouragements, reflections, and gentle reminders that you are not alone.
Just a few minutes a day can allow you to have the time to pause, to reflect, and to really just stay grounded.
And to get your copy, you can get it at gracetocare.com or the link in our bio.
Well, welcome back. You know, before the break, we were talking about allowing caregivers to do it, those that were here to help to do it their way. Dr. Toni, what is that one thing that you would say to help caregivers to receive that care and to receive it in the way that it comes?
Okay. So first of all, I think we just have to be okay with asking for help and just say, you know, it's all right that I need help. It does not mean that you're not a good caregiver or something is wrong with you. Right. You just need help. And then when God sends the help, I think one of the things that we have to learn to do is lean into that person's strength. What does those people that are, because I believe it's probably more than one person that can come alongside us and help. And so lean into their strength. You know, some people are good with cooking. Let them cook for you. You know, some people might be good with just coming over and sitting down and having a conversation with your loved one. Let them do that. I remember my mother-in-law, she loved puzzles and she loved Scrabble. That was her thing, right? And the what's the word? Crossword puzzles. And so sometimes we would just let people come over and sit with mom to help to do crosswords. So while they're doing that, I could step away for a minute, right? So let those different gifts and people that come around you, let them lean into what they bring to the table. You do what you can do and let others do what they can do.
Oh, that's good. Do what you can do and let others do what they can do. That's good.
In the way that they do it.
And the way they do it.
In the way that they do it. Because they were designed that way. So I want to ask, how can caregivers take care of someone they love and really not lose themselves in the process?
So that whole understanding that self-care is stewardship, but also there are a couple of things. So know your worth, know your why, know your worth, know that you are valuable to this process, and that without you, none of this will work. So because of that, that may require you taking better care of yourself, because I know that I'm valuable. I'm a central piece to this process, to caring for my loved one. So know your worth, know the value that you bring, right? And then know your why, know why you're doing this. Keep that big picture in mind. God called me to this. This is my mom, this is my dad, this is my husband, my child. Know why. What, you know, and I think that helps center us in the call for caregiving. Also, develop a self-care board of directors.
Ooh, tell me more.
I want to hear more about that.
So in my book, Harmonize Your Life, A Journey Towards Self-Care, I developed what I call the self-care board of directors. And what that means is, it's just like any other board. I recognize that I'm the chair of the board.
This is
Right. I'm the chair of the board, which means that it's my responsibility. My self-care is not anyone else's responsibility, it's mine.
Yes. Yes.
But then who else has God called alongside to help me care for myself? So on that board of directors, it might be other family members that, that you have familiar relationship with, sisters, brothers, spouse, children, right? They're part of that. Those are the people that offer support, encouragement, and accountability. Right. Hey, I see you haven't taken a break in a minute. You look tired. This people that will be able to know you and discern when you need a break. Sometimes without you even telling them that you need a break.
Who have lived your blind spots.
And can say, you know what, let me step in here. So having family and friends, healthy family and friends on your board. Having therapists and counselors. I tell people all the time, you can't have Jesus and a therapist.
Amen. Yes.
Amen. You can't. Somebody that you can talk to, that you can share what you're feeling, how you're feeling, and be honest about how you're feeling, right? Someone that's not invested with that in that relationship, but they're invested in making sure you stay healthy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So your therapists, your counselors, your coaches, your spiritual directors, people like that, having your doctors, your medical doctors, right?
Yes.
Keeping your medical appointments.
Yes.
You're making sure that your loved one keep their medical appointments, but making sure you have your annual physical, making sure you go to the eye doctor, the dentist. You see what I'm saying? Making sure that those things are on your calendar, and that you are committed to your own health, right? Because you got to take care of your body. So making sure that those persons are on your board of directors. My chiropractor is a part of my self-care board of directors that I see once a month. I get a monthly massage. I get a monthly facial. And it's on my calendar. And listen, before I leave the spa, I am right there at the desk making my next month's appointment. I don't leave, right? Because something else may come up. Somebody else gonna need me. And I can look at that calendar. When they text me, are you available? No, that's self-care Monday.
That's it.
Right?
Non-negotiable.
It's non-negotiable. Unless the sky is falling, right? It's non-negotiable. And so having those other people, developing that self-care board of directors, people, my trainer, my fitness trainer, Gabe, he's on my board of directors. And so these people on your board of directors, they're called to offer what we call in coaching SEA. They're there to offer support.
Yes.
We all need it.
Yes.
Encouragement.
Yes.
We all need it. And here's the other one, accountability.
Yes.
We need accountability.
We gotta have it.
Because we know what to do, but oftentimes without healthy accountability, not someone that's going to make you feel guilty.
Right.
No. But someone that will offer you loving, what I call loving accountability.
Yes.
When did you do what you said you was going to do? And if you didn't, what got in your way? And then how can we help you recenter, refocus, right? How can we help you be true to your own commitment, your own value for self-care, health, and wellness? And then also, I also want to say grief. I want to offer that. Last year I wrote, my last book was Tending to Your Garden, Moving Through Grief with Intentional Self-Care and Soul Care. And I wrote that book out of my own experience, the grief that I went through in losing my mom. And so deal with your grief. Like you, when our loved ones, and it's not just when someone dies, right? But the fact that we grieve, my grief therapist said to me, we grieve along the way. We grieve the loss of who that person used to be. We grieve the things that they used to be able to do that they can't do anymore. I know with my mom, one of the things I grieve, my mom was a foodie. She loved to eat. And because of the type of cancer that she had to have jaw reconstruction, and eventually, it just took away her taste buds and all of that, and just a whole series of events, the radiation and all of that. She lost her desire to eat. And so those kind of things, the grief behind what we lose along the way.
Yes.
You know, I was talking to Ferne this week. We were talking as a group, and I was telling her, we were talking about how grief pops up along the way. And God just kind of showed me how it's a lot like being a parent to an infant, right? When you're in it day to day, you don't always see how things have progressed because you're just living the tasks of the day, and you're in it. You just do what you got to do. But there are these pockets where something may come up or something's a reminder, just like you do when you have a baby. Like you suddenly become aware, like, oh, wow, you've grown so much. It's the same thing in caregiving in a different way. Oh, wow, we've come from here, and here's what we've gained, but here's what we've lost.
Yeah, and acknowledging those losses.
Exactly.
What have we lost along the way, right? Acknowledging those things, being honest about those things, and giving those things to God in prayer, but also being able to name it in a loving way, being able to talk about it in safe community, and also gathering yourself with others. I want to say to those that are watching and listening to this podcast is a resource. That can be a part of your self-care board of directors, connecting with caregiving groups and communities, talking, listening, and pouring into yourself in these ways, so that you can continue to take care of yourself while you care for your loved one.
You know, we also created, which they'll see it on as well, an affirmation journal. And one of the things that the affirmation journal is, it allows them an opportunity to reflect, to take a space every week and just really reflect on where we've been, where we're going. And so I'm super excited, you know, that they have an opportunity to really tap in and purchase that. But I also want them to know where they can get your books from. Talk about that for a moment before we close out on today. But talk about where people can get that. They can get it as a resource.
So on my website, drtonyalvarado.com, is just my name, drtonyalvarado.com, and there all of my resources are there, my books. And the two that I will offer the most, that I would say for caregivers today that I would like for them to tap into is the first one, Harmonize Your Life, A Journey Toward Self-Care. That's there. And then the latest book, the one we published in 2025, Tending to Your Garden. And that whole motif of gardening came out of one of the things I did in my grief journey was I planted a garden in memory of my mom. My mom loved plants. She loved to do those kind of things. So I planted rose bushes and plants. I have indoor plants that I nurture all year, and then I have things in my backyard that I've done, and that helps me. It helps me feel close to her, right? And you know what? The strangest thing, I planted yellow roses in memory of my mom, and this time of year they're blooming. And the other day I was walking and I was having a grief moment, right? I was missing mom. And I looked outside and I saw my yellow roses budding.
Yes.
And it was like God just caressed me, right? And I felt close to her. I felt like, yeah, okay, it's going to be okay. Yeah. So it's just, you know, doing those things. So yeah, go to my website, drtonyalvarado.com, and all of the resources are there. You can also learn about our retreats and things that we do. I also have a monthly meeting with in my self-care network. We do a monthly meeting called Tea Time with Dr. Toni. It's on Zoom. Okay. And we come into that space fourth Sundays, every fourth Sunday at 7 p.m. And we're only on for an hour, 90 minutes. Yeah. And we just come in, we share, we encourage one another, we fellowship, and women from all over the country come in there. And then I also do a 12-month program with women where I work very intense with them on their own personal goals and strategies for setting their lives up to be able to continue to take care of themselves. And a lot of those women in my program are caregivers.
This has been so good. Yes. And I am so glad we had you. You are a wealth of knowledge for our community. And I kind of want to just wrap us up today with just a kind of final thought. Like, what are your final thoughts for caregivers?
I'm gonna tag the name of this podcast. You are grace to care.
Yeah.
God called you to this. God is enabling you for this. But along with that grace, God's gonna add people, resources, things, strategies, so that you will be able to last and that you'll be able to care with joy. The joy of the Lord, my prayer is that the joy of the Lord will be your strength as you care for your loved ones. I just want everybody that's listening to know God graced you, but God will also give you what you need to be able to sustain yourself in this caregiving journey.
I just had a thought I've never thought about is that his grace will care for us as caregivers.
And his grace is sufficient.
Yes, it is sufficient. It is sufficient. Well, listen, we know that today's podcast has been something to help you along in your journey where you can understand that it's okay to care for you as you care for others. This has been Grace to Care with Ferne Sapp
And Jessica Banner.
And we want to remind you that you were never intended to walk this journey alone because we are graced to care together. See you next time. Thank you, Dr. Toni.
Yes, thank you.
You are so welcome. Thank you.
In caregiving, you're never meant to walk alone. We're grace to care together.